Welcome to the Cryptosphere. This is Cryptogenic coming at you. Today is Monday, the 4th of July at about 12 minutes after 11 a.m. here in Northern California, and there's a little bit of a chill in the atmosphere here. It's a little bit cold here. Matter of fact, I turned on my heater for a few moments ago. Likewise, we're seeing a chill in the crypto market as we've been expecting a major crash coming into the 4th of July. We have not seen it yet, but we're at an interesting place in the market right now, and that is a place in which the opportunity does not match the market sentiment. That means that as fear increases and confidence in the market decreases, the opportunity is increasing and increasing and increasing. But before we take a look at the chart, I'd like to stop and invite you to take a look at my Patreon at patreon.com/cryptogenic. I am beginning a promotion that's going to launch next Monday, and that promotion, the fruit of it will be on August 1st. I'm going to do a drawing from which I will pick at random one person who's going to receive a 1-year free gold membership on my Patreon. Current members of my Patreon are going to get entered in the drawing twice if you're silver, 3 times if you're gold. That is, those who participate in the promotion. So keep your eyes open for that. You can join this month in preparation for that drawing on the 1st of next month, and that will make sure that your name is in the drawing twice if you're silver and 3 times if you're gold. But more than that, the resources that I provide there are absolutely essential to where we are in the market right now. And I truly believe that what I provide there will empower, strengthen, and increase your confidence to recession-proof yourself and your family as we move deeper into this bear market, because bear markets are where millionaires are made. All right, let's take a look at these charts to see where we are, shall we? What seems to be apparent is that there are opportunities to buy, and that the best opportunities to buy present themselves when we come close to or touch this trend line. And it seems as that's the case, that this is only the 3rd time in our history that we are coming towards and touching this trend line. We actually have not touched it yet. It seems like, just from this chart, this is the 3rd most advantageous moment in Bitcoin's history to purchase Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general. But the general rule is that the bigger the opportunity, the lower the market confidence. So if you go back over here to March 16th, 2020, and then we go to the fear-greed index, we were deep in fear. It was down at an 8. So over here, we're in extreme fear at 14. It was at 8. Now, we were at 8 last week, a week before last, actually. We were at 8 when we had this big red bearish candle that put us all the way down to an 8 the week before last. But now we're at 14, which is still very low market confidence. You could almost look at this fear-greed index and do the opposite. Like when it's in extreme fear, without even looking at the chart, you could just buy. And when it's in extreme greed, you can almost not even look at the chart, just sell, and you would do pretty well. Another thing you could do is just look at the RSI. When the RSI hits the bottom, you just buy. When the RSI breaks above the top, you start taking profit. And if you did that, you almost would be okay. But both the fear-greed index is telling us we're in extreme fear, which means it's a good buy. RSI is telling us we're extremely oversold, which means it's a good buy. But yet market confidence is telling us exactly the opposite. Market confidence is telling us it's valueless, it's no good, but the charts are saying the opposite. Now, we did make a lower low in the RSI, so I was looking to see, were we going to break beneath this low? And yes, we did break beneath this low, so now we've established a low here. Now, the question is that the bottom, or are we going to make an even lower low in the RSI? And for me, the answer to that question will be determined by whether or not, number one, we break above this line of resistance in the RSI, and then number 2, will this line of resistance become support? If we break above this and establish support on this line, then we are probably in recovery and the bottom is in. But if we do not break above that line, we could be in for setting a lower low than we have seen. Taking a look at this chart, it's still a weekly chart, but I've drawn some trend lines here, and what we can see is that we're in an ascending narrowing wedge here. If we break above it, we were in an ascending narrowing wedge here, and we broke bullish above it. If we break bullish above this ascending narrowing wedge, that could take us up to $380,000. So here's the two data points that I take into play. Number one, the RSI is severely oversold. It is historically oversold. This is literally the lowest the RSI has ever been on the weekly chart in the history of Bitcoin. And so really the only thing it can do is recover. I mean, it's got to recover at a certain point. We're just severely oversold. Okay, so that's the first data point. And then number two, we're coming to touch this historic trend line that we have not been beneath. So we've looked at other charts and we've seen that we've broken beneath these moving averages. So the 200-week moving average, but we're beneath that. We're coming up at support at the 300-week moving average. I still think there's a chance, I still think there's a good chance that we come down and we touch the 300-week moving average and we get somewhere around the mid 16,000s before we get any type of a breakout, but we're going to watch it and see. But the primary point that I wanted to make today is that this is the third time in our history that we're touching this historic trend line, and historically the best times to buy have been when we come upon this historic trend line. Could we break beneath it? We absolutely could break beneath it. If we break beneath it and this trend line becomes resistance, well, that could spell a long, nasty bear market for Bitcoin. And so we are watching it. We could have broken beneath it there. We could have broken beneath it there. But we did not. We maintained support in both of those instances. Will we break beneath it here? Seeing how oversold the RSI is, how severely oversold the RSI is, it is doubtful to me that we will break beneath and close beneath this trend line. We might wick beneath it, but I believe we will recover, in my opinion. However, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm simply telling you what I see in the charts and what makes sense to me. But, you know, we got to be able to name reality. This is a bear market. We have been in a bear market ever since we hit the top. Remember, the bull market starts at the bottom. This is the way I define bull and bear market. The bull market begins at the bottom. So it's only in hindsight that you can see, oh yeah, we were in a bull market. We didn't know it until we looked back and realized, oh yeah, okay, we've recovered from that point. We're now in a bull market. We've been in a bull market. We were in a bull market for 609 days, and we made 1,723% in that bull market. Likewise, bear markets are clearly discernible, 2020, in hindsight. And we can look back and say, ever since we topped out at 69,000 in November of 2021, we've been in a bear market. This is a downtrend, and we're 75% down. So there's folks who are saying, I'm not calling a bear market yet. Well, how do you define a bear market? I mean, 75% is not if 75% is not a bear market, then I don't know what a bear market is. However, the key is understanding that bear markets don't have to last forever. We had a bear market here, and it lasted 385 days, and then we recovered. We had another bear market here, and it lasted 266 days, and then we recovered. We had a little miniature one here, and it lasted 98 days, and then we recovered. And now we've got a little bit longer of a bear market here, and it has lasted, actually not a little bit longer, 231 days. Shorter than this one, not as long as these two. And so we're just waiting to see when and how the recovery is going to come. All right, let's take a quick look at, what are we going to take a look at? Bitcoin Cash. Haven't looked at Bitcoin Cash for a while. Textbook breakdown out of its bearish trend. Found support. The line was $106 for support, but it's actually come down to $97. Let's take a look at a smaller time frame, and we could see that it bounced off the bottom of this range, and now it's broken above the range. So this could be recovery. On the 4-hour, the RSI looks like we're in recovery here. And if that's the case, then we will see a nice recovery for Bitcoin Cash. Taking a look at THETA token here as well. RSI looks like it's in recovery. Made a nice higher high and a higher low. So as long as this trend continues upward and we don't come back down to make a lower low, we can call this recovery. But in the price, we got to break above this range here. Turns out it doesn't look like, at least at this point, that we're making any kind of cup and handle. We're simply in a range, and in this range, we got to break above $1.48 and then above 210, and then we could be on our way toward higher heights and deeper seas. Cake token looks to me like it's trying to break above its trend. The RSI broke above its trend. Now we're waiting for the price to break above its trend, and if the price can get above $3.30 and make that support, we can be on our way. Simply looking at the weekly chart, it looks to me like the RSI has bottomed out. And if the RSI has bottomed out and is in recovery, then we should be on our way. But right now, the whole market is looking unto Bitcoin to determine what it's going to be. That includes the XRP chart. We had a breakdown to 28 cents. And we're now in recovery. We're now at 32 cents. To me, that's a steal for XRP. Seeing this falling wedge in XLM, I think we're going to break bullish out of here. And a bullish break out of this could take us all the way up to 79 cents. But we'd have to get above 23 and 41 cents respectively on the way. Inflation is still high, but it looks like that we've made a high, we've made a peak with inflation, and it's now pointing downward. We're in this weird period in the economy in which the interest rates are rising and inflation is still high simultaneously. So high inflation increases the cost of living, and high interest rates increases the cost of doing business. And so we're in that weird period where, the cost of living is high, but the reward for employment is diminishing simultaneously. And so hopefully the rising interest rates will curb this and get inflation down substantially, and then the economy can recover. But we're going to be watching these things. But I truly believe that investing in cryptocurrency at this time, at this moment, given where we are in the history of the market, is the best way to recession-proof yourself. The best way, this is where millionaires are made in bear markets. Millionaires are made through accumulation of viable and valuable assets in bear markets, and that's where we are right now. So I'm going to continue to cover this and continue to talk about this. But once again, thank you so much for watching. Check out my Patreon. Shout out to the members of my Patreon. You make this possible for me to do this. Appreciate you all. Patreon.com/cryptogenic. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, leave me a comment, letting me know what you think. But above all, make it your aim to sleep in peace every night, wake in joy every morning, and walk in love every day. This is Cryptogenic, signing out.